What's up, everybody? So let's get into this season finale of Young and Pregnant. It's been a long season. And I know this review is kind of late, but it was Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody had a great one. So we're starting off with Rachel, who is in the car with her boo Noah, sharing stories of how she used to get suspended in high school for stupid stuff. And she gloats about how much she loves him and how much her daughter loves him, before it switches over to her sister Mallory, who has just bought a ran down trailer for cheap, which she hopes, of cleaning it up and it being livable. She says this is her little project, and good for Mallory. Any place to call your own is your own. Her and Rachel start talking about her Noah, and Rachel says it's going really good, and she wants to move in with Noah because they've been together for a whopping 3 months. So, of course, Mallory tries to be the voice of reason, saying, wait, what if you guys break up or something? But Rachel is being Rachel and just, being defensive. And she's like, that's a part of life. And if we break up, then Hazley will get to see the struggle at the age of 2. That's life. It's not a fairy tale. So, okay. So Brianna is back from her glorious birthday trip, and her mom are sitting down eating a steamy lunch when her mom asks her about her internet famous Bae Briggs, where she tells her, it's up and down. One day we break up, the next we are together. It's really complicated. Next, they are at home, and she's once again talking about how she's ready to move out. So she's talking to her sister, and her sister doubts that Brianna is ready to move out like she's been doing all season. So she gets to telling her about the bills and blah, blah, blah. And Brianna says, she got it under control. Brianna's been talking about moving out all season. So I hope she finally does. So heading over to Kayla, she, had a wild season. She lets everybody know that she is pregnant again, and that when she told Big Luke that she was pregnant, he immediately said that it wasn't his baby, but then later changed his tune. Big Luke is starting to crumble. They sit down to talk about the situation, and Luke says he hasn't had sex in months with Kayla, and she doesn't understand how this is. Kayla says it hasn't been months. It's not been as frequent, but it has not been months. Luke says he doesn't remember emptying his load in Kayla in recent months. So it's just a really sad situation. But anyway, switching over to Kayla Jay, she's talking about how she still isn't going to let Mecca go to Philly because of Mikhail's girlfriend, like we've been hearing all season. So he says, Mikhail says that he's finally going to, take a bus to Maryland because he's so ashamed that he hasn't seen his daughter in 30 plus days. So he's going to take a bus to Maryland for the weekend so he can finally see his daughter. So as soon as he gets there, Kayla picks him up and Kayla cooks for him, and they enjoy a nice family dinner, cracking jokes and everything. So Kayla is looking forward to moving on in a positive way, and says it's because Mecca, quote unquote, needs her dad. So then we head over to Kaya, who's been mad this entire season. So once again, she's mad. They're talking about the therapy session that Tiaza wants to go on. And Kaya's just like, I don't understand why you wouldn't tell me, because I want to emotionally be there for you, but you're not letting me. So Tiaza's just like, listen, I'm not finna tell you everything, especially when you blow up about nothing. So they're just talking about it, and Kaya feels pissed off because she actually wants to take care of Tiaza, and Tiaza isn't letting her. Like, literally, we could have went without this scene, but let's see what happens. So heading over to Rachel, she is at first pissed that Noah wants to take this truck driving job because of the separation between the two, and he's going to be traveling a lot. He's always going to be on the road, and he's never going to be home. But she says after seeing Mallory's house, which is a train wreck, that she is open to the job because the job is going to pay Noah $60,000 a year, whereas I guess his fast food job or whatever other job he had was only going to pay him, $30,000 a year. So she's like, yeah, he's on his shit, so I can respect that. He's older than me, and he kind of makes me want to get a job. So now Rachel is contemplating getting a job because Noah's going to be making $60,000 on the road, but she still feels a way about it because her daughter is just so attached to this man. After, he assures her that everything is going to be okay, she calms down and begins planning the rest of their lives together. Next, we switch over to Brianna, who is speaking about her still wanting to move out with her friend Ashley, and her friend Ashley gives her the same advice, basically, that her sister did, about how hard it's going to be. You're going to have bills. You're not going to have your mama there, blase, blase. And Brianna's like, yes, but I'm 21. I'm ready to move out and, experience those responsibilities with me and my son. And it just seems like Ashley is trying to tell her to stay with her mom for as long as she can, which is probably some good advice. However, Brianna, just feels like when people give her this type of advice, they're downing her. And I can tell that because in the interview, she said, I thought that my friend Ashley thought more of me. But that's not really it. Maybe your friends and your sisters and everybody else see you so good that they know that you need just a little bit more time home. And there's nothing wrong with that. If your mom is like, hey, you can live here for free, I say live there for as long as you can until you figure out the real world and if you can take care of your baby on your own. But hey, that's just me. I'm not kicking my kids out until they're ready. And you need to take advantage of that because those type of moms don't come often. So heading back over to Virginia with Kaya, it starts with Tiaza playing on a railroad track with Amor. Then it switches over to Tiaza in the confessional, and she's basically saying, that she doesn't open up to a lot of people. She doesn't really know how to open up. She's hoping that the counseling sessions will teach her how to open up because in her family, a lot, if you open up, you're crazy or you're this, that, and the third, and she ain't really had many people to open up to. So when Kaya is with open arms saying, please open up to me, she doesn't get it. She means that she really doesn't get it. Then it switches over to Kaya and her mom. So Kaya and her mom are talking and Kaya's like, yeah, Tiaza pretty much loops me in the same group as people who don't give a fuck about her. And these are people like family members, parents, whatever. But Kaya's like, I'm so different. Like this girl just does not understand how I feel about her. And it's a hard situation. It's a complicated situation to deal with because if you're used to growing up a certain way, then that way is hard to break. It's hard to feel like somebody actually gives a fuck about you. So I feel bad for Tiaza that she's in this hard place right now. And I hope that she can fight her way out of it. And Kaya's mom is being very helpful this season with seeing both sides, not necessarily taking Kaya's side. So I love that for them. So let's see what happens. So the next scene is really sad. It's of Kayla. Like she said, she was pregnant and she feels like the best decision for her is abortion. Now, she said she thought about this, Her and Luke have not been on the best page. They've been arguing lately. They both got one step out of the door. Like, yeah, I'm about to go. Then it's those rumors with her cheating with Ryan. And then it's the fact that Big Luke actually did cheat. And he's the cheater in the relationship. He's cheated more than one time, according to Kayla. So they are not on the best of terms as this pregnancy date is arising. Then we have to couple in the fact that Luke literally does not think that this is his child. So I can just imagine the energy coming from Kayla. She's probably depressed. She's probably sad. She's probably confused. Then she says that she does not feel like she can give her all to 3 kids because she's already given her all to 2 kids. And if everything that she has said is true about her being in the house by herself with 2 kids while Luke is out doing whatever he wants to do, going out, basketball games, school, whatever, while she's stuck in the house by herself, can you imagine the grief? Like mothers and moms go through the most shit. We have to carry all of this weight. We have to carry all of this stuck in the house and having a kid 24/7 while the fathers literally do whatever they want. I can see all of these scenarios going through Kayla's head as she's talking, and she's heard about it. But she literally does not feel like she can do 3 kids at this time. Okay, so then we switch over to Kayla Jay, who claims she's okay with Mikhail now because he's actually putting forth an effort and he's going to look for apartments. But what Mikhail doesn't tell the audience is that his girlfriend is actually coming up from Philly to look at apartments with him because they are going to be living together. Now, this is just weird. He takes a bus ride to Maryland, and then a couple days later, his girlfriend drives to Maryland to look at these apartments with him. Like you could have just dropped me off and got an apartment for 1.5 days or however long it was. I don't know. All I can tell you is that previous morning, it looked like he was staying at Kayla's joint, not a hotel, but Kayla's joint. But I don't know. But the girlfriend is saying, you need to tell, Michaela, you need to tell Kayla because I don't think that she's going to like it if I just surprise and I live in Maryland all of a sudden. We all need to have a sit down, which I agree. I don't know why Michaela's being so secretive. For one, I think that he's being secretive because Kayla has been known to pop off at the smallest things, and he just wants to, avoid drama and take care of his child. And another reason is I don't think Mikhail has a place to stay by himself, and he needs like a co-signer and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. So this next scene is really simple of Brianna. I feel like she comes in the house high as hell. You can tell it in her eyes, but you guys be the judge. I don't know. In my opinion, she was high. She comes in the house. She's like, yeah, I just got home, off of work or whatever. And she's talking to her mother, and she's like, I just want to tell you, I got approved for an apartment, and I'm going to move out. And her mom is just like, I don't think you're ready. It's really hard. You come to me whenever a small inconvenience in your life happens. What happens when you and Brig argue? What happens when so-and-so? You're just going to drop the baby off at me? So Brianna gets pissed and tells her that she's a piece of shit for bringing Briggs up and blah, blah, blah. That's her relationship, her personal business, even though she's not paying no bills. Then Brianna gets up and storms away, and her mom's like, yeah, typical. And it's just like, how many times do I have to witness this in a season? Brianna is so immature. Grow up a little. Like, grown-ass women don't cuss their mama and fuss their mama out at any chance they get. Like, it's ridiculous. Moving over to Rachel. She's mad because Noah, basically dropped her and Hazley and, dropped the toys off on the curb, dropped her off on the curb, basically said that, he got to do him for at least a couple of months because he's leaving and doing this new truck driver deal. Now, she's mad because he said when he moved that, he didn't take her and Hazley. But it's just like, you're unemployed and you have a baby. Like, I'm not finna take y'all, and I don't even know what's going on with me first. I have an entry-level truck driving position. At least let me get my feet on the ground, but no. Rachel was not hearing it. Rachel was like, you're a piece of shit. I'll never love again. Give me all my shit. And she basically dumped Noah. Now, this is typical Rachel, so I don't feel no type of way about it. But it's just like, you expect, an 18, 19-year-old boy to revolve around your schedule instead of his, which is making money. It's not feasible, Rachel. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Yet she's sulking on her mom's couch and saying that she'll never love again. And she can't believe she let somebody get so close to Hazley. However, she's only been with this dude for 3 months. So I feel like Rachel's life will umbrella and get better eventually. What are we talking about here? Another dude in the neighborhood? Y'all, heading over to Kaya, it's literally nothing. MTV pays for them a nice dinner out, which Kaya says, I decided to take Tiaza out. But MTV pays for all these dinners that you guys have ever seen out, which is crazy. If me and my boo could get MTV to pay for all these dinners, we would be out all the damn time, and wouldn't even care about the cameras. But whatever. So they're having this dinner out, and TA's are just like, yeah, I'll try my best to communicate with you. I feel like one day we could get back together. And Kaya's like, yeah, that'll work. Meanwhile, they've been together this entire time. They've just been having problems. But we will see. So moving on to Kayla Jay. Her baby daddy, Mikhail, has summoned her to, a lunch with him and his girlfriend because they want to talk about the issues so he can eventually start getting Mecca on weekends when he officially moves to Maryland. So I didn't believe that my good sis would actually meet up with Mikhail and his girlfriend, but she did. And she was very graceful about it. So Kayla Jay met up with Mikhail and the girlfriend, and she was just like, you know what? The only thing I need to know is that you are a good person. You're going to look after my daughter and blase, blase. And it was a really good sit down. And the girlfriend was like, yes, I wanted transparency. I wanted honesty. I wanted for Mikhail to tell you the truth, that we were going to be moving in together so you wouldn't have to second guess it, and that Mecca could come to our apartment or our house or whatever and chill whenever or spend time whenever, spend the night or whatever, and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. And it looks like Kayla was okay with the situation. She eventually started grinning and smiling with them, where I thought it was going to go all wrong because earlier in the episode, she was indeed cooking for Mikhail and grinning and skinning like they were a family. But then Mikhail pulled the wild card that, no, my girlfriend is going to move down here with me. So it seems like the girlfriend is going to move with Mikhail, and they are going to definitely be co-parents. And this is going to be interesting to figure out if they get another season, because as far as I know, Teen Mom Young and Pregnant is only filming the original four moms, which is Kayla, Brianna, Kaya as of now, and Rachel Beaver. So I don't know, but I would love to get to see if this actually works out and Kayla doesn't, start swinging on the baby mom at one night when she wants to go pick up her kid. I don't know. We'll see. So the last scene of Young and Pregnant is of Kayla and Big Luke driving to the abortion clinic, which is it's very weird. Okay, they drop their kids off at a friend's house, I believe, and then they drive on to the abortion clinic, and they're talking about it a little bit, but not really. She's just saying how she's nervous and stuff like that. And she can only go into the abortion clinic by herself at this time because of COVID. So when they arrive, she walks into the clinic. He's like telling her, you got this, you're good. And when, she comes back, she's crying and she's like emotional, and she's saying, that I think she was saying she was awake the whole time. I'm not sure, which is really weird to me. Kayla Sessler is the second teen mom to have an abortion. The first was Janelle Evans. I think she had a medical one, Janelle, where she took a pill in the clinic, and then she took another one home, and she passed the whatever through in the toilet. But I think that Kayla had a surgical one, so I wasn't really sure of why she wasn't brought out on a wheelchair, or why it wasn't Big Luke there to get her. I don't know. A lot of people tried to argue me in my comments, saying that Kayla was not the second teen mom. It was like a first one from 16 and Pregnant, and I know who you guys are talking about, but that current episode is banned from every station, every whatever. I cannot tell you guys how many times I tried to look up, I think her name was Mikkel from 16 and Pregnant, her abortion story, because MTV did a special on it, and then they saw how poorly done it was, and they banned it from every TV station ever. It only aired one time. If you got to see it, whoopee, congrats for you. But when y'all leave it in the comment section, y'all know y'all ain't seen that damn special. It's just like, what y'all trying to prove? Y'all trying to argue me? Like what? But anyway, Kayla was very emotional after this procedure, and her mom actually jumped in my inbox, which was very unexpected. Her mom, Jamie, I actually love her because she takes up for her daughter at every turn. She's going to take up for her daughter. So she actually told me that, it's not fake, that her daughter actually did have an abortion, and it was a very hard time for them. And I was like, you could see why this looked very sitcom-y or storyline-ish. And she was telling me that, MTV skipped so many months in between. If you guys know that Kayla got into like an argument with her in-laws or whatever in November, but Kayla got pregnant in May. So MTV dropped the ball on the timeline or whatever, making Kayla look crazy. So I believe what the mom is telling me. What y'all think?